In Los Angeles, a new Emerson poll showing the incumbent mayor, Karen Bass, on top with 30% of the vote. The same poll shows Republican Spencer Pratt, who starred in MTV's reality show The Hills. Spencer Pratt holding a 22% share of the vote, which is pretty good considering he's a complete and total moron. Good on you, Spencer Pratt. Here is Spencer Pratt being interviewed on CNN. You tell me if Spencer Pratt's not ready to play a much larger role in Republican politics after Tuesday's primaries. Listen to this.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean, that's what.
Yeah, he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
As a politician, he had to go in. Jesus was a politician. According to Trump, Jesus is soft on crime, or at least Pope Leo is soft on crime. Paxton, in many ways, is like Trump, because no matter how many times you knock this POS down, he gets back up. Paxton became a Texas Attorney General in January of 2015. He was immediately indicted for securities fraud. So obviously Trump sees him as a kindred spirit. Now, he was immediately indicted for securities fraud. And just like Trump, Paxton says, I was fully exonerated. He wasn't. He was guilty. He pled out. He made a deal. In fact, he made it 2 years ago to pay close to $300,000 in restitutions to the people he defrauded. The Attorney General of Texas agreed to pay close to $300,000 in restitutions to the people he defrauded. He agreed to perform 100 hours of community service. If you really want to perform 100 hours of community service, Ken Paxton, you just stay home and not try to do anything for the community. And he was forced to enroll in a course on ethics. Does that sound like he was exonerated? In 2023, he was impeached by the Texas State House of Representatives, ended up dodging conviction, 20 articles of impeachment, but he was found innocent by the Senate narrowly by a vote of 16-14. One of those votes not to convict came from his wife, Ken Paxton's wife. She's a Republican state senator who last year filed for divorce on what she described as biblical grounds. I remember hearing that and thinking, why can't she say it? Why does she have to say biblical? Why can't he say, my husband was cheating on me? That's one of the reasons he got impeached. Paxton was accused of making sweetheart deals in order to benefit his sweetheart, and his sweetheart was not the woman he was married to. As Texas State Attorney General, Paxton spent most of last year, by the way, enforcing Senate Bill 10, which is the law. It mandates all Texas classrooms must display the 10 Commandments. Ken Paxton said, when he was asked, why are you enforcing the 10 Commandments law? He said, quote, I will always fight for students' fundamental right to pray in our schools and work to ensure that Texas kids are able to learn from the 10 Commandments daily. The 10 Commandments. A champion, Ken Paxton, running for Senate as a champion of the 10 Commandments. That's his ex-wife, Angela Paxton. She's the state senator from Texas. She's standing by her man there, just like Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man, famous song. She's standing by her man. And by that, I mean Tammy Wynette divorced 4 of her 5 husbands. Tammy Wynette did not stand by her man. Hillary Clinton stood by her man. Remember in 1992, she told 60 Minutes, I'm not Tammy Wynette here, standing by her man. Well, turns out Hillary Clinton stood by her man. Tammy Wynette divorced 4 out of 5. The 5th one, I think she died before he did, but they were still married. Anyway, last year, Angela Paxton, Senator Angela Paxton, filed for divorce saying her husband had committed adultery. She said biblical grounds. But when you go before a judge, you have to say, my husband cheated on me. Those were the words she used in the divorce proceedings. For the people of Texas, she said, biblical grounds. Right, but Sharia law is unacceptable. So we all know the seventh commandment, or at least we're supposed to. I don't remember. I had to look it up. I forgot what the seventh commandment. You know why? Because I'm a coastal elitist, raised by coastal elitist parents who didn't want the 10 Commandments displayed in my classrooms while I was growing up. So I have no idea what the seventh commandment is, but there it is. There's your seventh commandment. It's keep it in your pants, Kenny boy. That's the seventh commandment. Yeah. Paxton is such a great politician, a great MAGA politician. Since the divorce, Texas classrooms must now only put on display the 9 commandments. Adultery? I never heard of it. That's not in the 9 commandments. That's how you perpetuate the big lie. You just say the 9 commandments instead of 10. Paxton's ex-wife, State Senator Angela, refused to endorse him. She did tell Republicans to vote for State Senator Mays Middleton for Attorney General, running against Chip Roy. She endorsed James Jim Wright for Railroad Commissioner and Thomas Smith for Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. But for some reason, she couldn't bring herself to endorse Ken Paxton, her husband who cheated on her. But that doesn't matter for Ken Paxton. He doesn't need an endorsement from his ex-wife because he got an endorsement from someone he truly loves and wouldn't dream of cheating on, Donald J. Trump. Republican Congressman Thomas Keene still hasn't returned to Congress. He's been missing for a couple months. Nobody quite knows where he is. They don't even know where his wife is. They think it might be health issues. But the New Republic reporting that despite not showing up to work, New Jersey Congressman Thomas Keene still had time to trade stocks. So he's not voting on any bills, but he's trading stocks. In all fairness, we are talking about a New Jersey congressman. And I grew up in Jersey. So we got politicians who've been dead for 75 years still trading stocks. I think Woodrow Wilson, the former governor of New Jersey who became president, I think he just purchased 10,000 shares of Core Civic and Geo Group. That's Woodrow Wilson. Horrible, horrible Woodrow Wilson. Bad guy. Glad he's gone. Woodrow Wilson, bad guy. Anyway, Thomas Keene represents New Jersey's 7th congressional district, and that is very much in play, very flippable in November. Very flippable. Woodrow Wilson, rotten hell, Woodrow Wilson. Well, recently fired Attorney General Pam Bondi says she has been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. The doctor said, you've got cancer, but let's talk about the Dow at 50,000. That's what you came here to talk about. That's why you came to see me. How great the Dow Jones Industrial Average is doing. It's at 50,000, Pam Bondi. Well, we wish Pam Bondi a speedy recovery in prison for perjuring herself before the House Judiciary Committee earlier this year when she testified under oath that there was no evidence inside the Epstein files that incriminated Donald Trump. That is a lie. There are thousands of documents that serve as evidence that incriminates Donald Trump. Now, evidence is not proof. Evidence serves as the reason to investigate Donald Trump, which she refused to do. California Governor Gavin Newsom said his state will place a 100% tax on anyone who benefits from Donald Trump's $1.8 billion fund established to pay Trump's allies who can prove they are victims of the Biden Justice Department weaponizing the law. You mean enforcing it? Newsom said the tax will prevent anyone getting money for attacking Capitol police officers or attempting to overthrow our democracy. The Trump administration will challenge this tax, claiming it violates the Constitution's Supremacy Clause, which forbids states from sidestepping federal laws, rules, or regulations. But Gavin Newsom, who's running for president, is inviting this lawsuit. Former First Lady Jill Biden is promoting her new book. She says, while watching her husband's 2024 debate against Donald Trump, she was terrified he was having a stroke on national television. She thought Biden was having a stroke. He wasn't. The rest of us were. We were all suffering a stroke watching Biden, but he wasn't having a stroke during that debate. It took 3 months for my vocal cords to recover after I went up 3 octaves immediately after saying, Joe did great. He kicked Trump's ass. We had a watch party after I was going, Joe was great. Joe Biden was great. I want my vocal cords back. South Carolina Democratic Congressman James Clyburn is the only Democrat out of the 7 members his state sends to the House of Representatives. After the Supreme Court's Calais decision, Republicans were getting pressured by Donald Trump to redraw the map and get rid of Clyburn's seat. On May 20th, the South Carolina House of Representatives voted to redraw the map and eliminate James Clyburn's seat. But on Tuesday, the South Carolina Senate killed the bill, and Clyburn's seat remains at least for 2026. Clyburn, black, South Carolina, black. It's ranked 8th nationwide as having the most black residents. And if Trump and Republicans had their way, there would not be a single black person representing South Carolina voters in Washington, D.C. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina? Like I said, without James Clyburn representing South Carolina's 6th congressional district, South Carolina would not be sending a single black representative to Washington, D.C. Somebody should tell Republican Senator Tim Scott to look in the mirror. The Telegraph reporting this afternoon that since October, the United States has accepted 6,069 refugees seeking asylum from political persecution. All but 3 are white South Afrikaners. All of them, except for 3, are South Afrikaners, white South Afrikaners, falsely claiming to be victims of genocide that they say is being committed by black South African lawmakers who are taking their farmland. This is a lie perpetrated and perpetuated by South African Elon Musk. It's not happening, but why let the truth get in the way of racism? Donald Trump went to Walter Reed Hospital on Tuesday for the 3rd time since returning to the Oval Office. That's a lot of visits to Walter Reed, even for a 79-year-old man who turns 80 next month. Usually, you can bring the doctors to the president. So if he's going to Walter Reed Hospital, something's up. That's a recent picture of Trump's left hand, and no, that's not blood. Well, actually, it might be. Nobody knows what's pooling up in his hands. It looks like blood. And there's a closer look at his right hand. And I haven't shown you his swollen ankles, where the fat droops over the shoes. He almost trips on his ankle fat, his cankles. But Trump had his 3rd physical since returning to the Oval Office. And afterwards, he said everything checked out perfectly. And he said, pay no attention to rumors about my health. I am in perfect form. Trump then said we're just hours away from a peace deal with Iran. And to celebrate the peace deal, he resumed the bombing campaign. We're just minutes away from Hormuz opening up. I've got a deal. I just have to put my name on it. U.S. Central Command said it launched airstrikes on southern Iran Tuesday, but only out of self-defense. I believe that was Trump's original gambit in the E. Jean Carroll trial when he claimed she was going to rape me first. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. And George Stephanopoulos, if you're watching, pay attention. This is how you stand up to bullies, okay? Let me rephrase that. Donald Trump said she was going to rape me in common law parlance first. Here's Kane, General Dan Kane, asking the Armed Services Committee to appropriate $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon's 2027 budget so they can build more weapons.
The president's budget supports the department's goal of recharging the defense industrial base and the national industrial base, those small mom and pop manufacturing companies that are out there in your districts that help us generate combat capability.
Wow. Let me hear that again.
Those small mom and pop manufacturing companies.
Those small mom and pop bomb makers. They really are. He's right. They're the small mom and pop bomb manufacturers. They are the heart and soul of the military industrial complex. Everybody thinks of, Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. It's those small little mom and pop bomb makers that we really need to protect. Because I like handmade Tomahawk missiles using recipes handed down over generations. Like the ones made by Pepperidge Farms. The Patriot missile that smiles back, rich and gooey cluster bombs of chewy chocolate and shrapnel. This is unbelievable. This is the mop-up. I'm David Feldman in New York City. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense and paranoia. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong. You can be paranoid and know exactly what's going on. Please share this episode. Tell people about this, please. In the Texas 35th Congressional District, Democratic runoff on May 26, Tuesday, talking about the 35th Congressional District in Texas, Johnny Garcia defeated Maureen Galindo. This surprised me. I thought Maureen Galindo was going to win. She's never held elective office, but she's a sex therapist, so she knows something about taking positions. And she had a wonderful platform. She campaigned on a promise to turn Texas's Carnes ICE Detention Center into a prison for American Zionists and former ICE officers, and they'd all be held for human trafficking. And she added the Carnes ICE Detention Center would also serve as a castration processing center for pedophiles, which will probably, quote, be most of the Zionists, according to Maureen Galindo. I'm surprised she didn't win. That's a sex therapist who doesn't understand that chemical castration doesn't stop pedophiles. It's not about, well, why would she know that? You can castrate a rapist or a pedophile. They're still going to do what they do because it's not about pleasuring themselves. It's about destroying others. Texas primaries also had an interesting result for Al Green, who also lost on two. That would be the wrong Al Green. That's not the Al Green I'm talking about. No, that's Mo Green. By the way, what happened to his glasses? What happened to Mo Green's glasses? You'd think a man like Mo Green could afford a nicer pair of glasses. There we go. Congressman Al Green seen here heckling Donald Trump's State of the Union. Al Green lost the race for the newly redrawn 18th Congressional District on Tuesday. Green served 11 terms and recently introduced one more resolution to impeach Donald Trump. He's been calling for Trump's impeachment since the beginning. Green lost to freshman Congressman Christian Menefree. Because of the redistricting in Texas, we had two incumbent Democratic House members competing for one seat. Bloomberg reporting that shopping for groceries is getting so expensive, it's cheaper now to go on Ozempic. The United States, well, that's not, they didn't say that, I did. But I don't even know if Ozempic is healthy. The United States Department of Agriculture now predicting that food prices by the end of this year will have increased anywhere between 3.2% to more than 5%. We could see 5% inflation. That would be the largest jump in nearly 4 years. Now, we just are experiencing the largest jump in 4 years. Beef prices have doubled since 2020, up nearly 15% this year alone. Some estimates now saying before 2026 is over, beef will cost an additional 6 to 18%. Look at those adorable cows. Aren't they just, don't you just want to, I just want to grind you up and slather you in ketchup and onions. You look so cute and have you ever met a cow? Ever hugged a cow? They're adorable. Here, this is your hamburger. Ranchers say they have the smallest number of herds in 75 years. So what is driving the population implosion among cattle? What's going on? Originally I figured, well, this is a first world country and cows are choosing not to have more veal because that's what people in privileged societies do. They have fewer veal. But I'm a vegan, so I really don't understand what kind of family planning bulls and cows practice. I just figured, like most of us, they have second thoughts about bringing hamburger and steak into this cruel and vicious world. It turns out, though, what's decreasing the number of cattle is drought, climate change, which is a little ironic because cattle are the second leading cause or source, which would have been easier for me to pronounce than cause. Let's pretend I'm going to start all over again. Cattle are the second leading source for all the greenhouse emissions. They are the second leading cause of drought and climate change, right behind humans. That's Donald Trump running for president in 2024, working the fry station at a McDonald's in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Right after winning in 2024, Trump was photographed aboard his jet enjoying a McDonald's meal with Elon Musk, Don Jr., Mike Johnson, and Robert Make America Healthy Again Kennedy Jr., all chowing down on McDonald's, even though study after study shows eating at McDonald's more than once, possibly twice a month, serves as one of the leading causes of cancer, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. The evidence is overwhelming. But then again, so is the evidence that climate change is man-made, and that doesn't stop Donald Trump from calling climate catastrophe a hoax. He's beholden to the oil companies. That's the truth. And the Republican Party is fighting any alternative to petroleum. Trump will say and do anything on behalf of the oil companies. He's literally said windmills cause cancer. I wish I were making that one up. He says they're the most expensive form of energy. Wind is the cheapest. He says your lights go out when there's no wind. Apparently he's never heard of batteries. He says windmills kill whales and birds. Well, they don't kill whales. And as for birds, we do have some information on that. Yes, there's an element of truth to that. About 250,000 birds are killed each year because they fly into windmills. But hundreds and hundreds of millions of birds are killed each year flying into skyscrapers and power lines. The Smithsonian Institution and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service say that just inside the contiguous United States alone, kitty cats kill roughly 2 to 4 billion birds a year. I quadruple checked that. your kitty cat. Kitty cats kill anywhere between 2 to 4 billion birds a year here in the United States. They are serial killers. Cats are responsible for the deaths of anywhere between 6 to 22 billion small mammals each year. Here in the United States, kitty cat kills anywhere between 6 to 22 billion small mammals each year. Now, yes, they do kill mice and rats, unless it's a cat living with me. Now, I don't have cats. I'm done with cats, but I used to have a lot. I used to be a cat lady, and they never did what they were supposed to do. They never killed a single mouse for me. They killed a couple of couches. So yeah, I never had a cat who killed a mouse for me. Never a mouse. Melvin was living with me briefly here in New York City. He did discover a mouse in the kitchen, and he walked up to me and said, "I think I just saw a mouse. You should get a cat." I said, "Melvin, you are a cat." He said, "No, I'm not. You're just seeing things." So unless a cat lives with me, they are killing machines. Well, they've killed a couple of relationships for me. But and the reason they're so popular in the United States is they are the only other animal besides humans who kill for fun. But at least they do it with their claws. They don't need a gun. So cats are still better than humans. But this is true. A cat will hunt its prey just for the sport of it, like humans. And they will offer it up as a gift to you. The cat says, have one of my marsupials. The freezer is packed. There's no room. You enjoy this marsupial. Well, thanks, kitty cat, but I prefer my possum dead. I know you think possum tastes better freshly killed, but something about their screams from the oven make me lose my appetite. See, that's how brutal cats are. They injure the animals and then give them to you as a gift. That's what cats do. That's, by the way, a possum. That's a marsupial, a possum. And let me just see here. That is either either a mother possum or a male possum who spent way too much time in Chernobyl. Those are some nasty growths. He should get them looked at if it's a man. I don't like the look of one of those pustules, unless it's a woman. And I think it's a mother. It's a mother possum. And it's a mother possum. That's how bad the economy is. 7 kids still living with her. Well, anybody still here? I've been very depressed because I realized I took a week off from my back, and I realized it's not Trump. I mean, maybe a little. It's me. I like to say it's Trump. It's me. I like to use Trump as an excuse for my back pain, but it's me.